What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? Today we are going to be checking out the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt bike computer. Element is spelled without the last E, as if it's one of those new internet companies that started in the early 2000s. Those companies like Tumblr, Twitter, Flickr. Back then it was super cool to drop vowels. So congratulations, Wahoo. You really nailed it with the naming of this product. And in this video, we are gonna go over all the details about this bike computer. We'll go over all the things that I like about this computer, as well as a couple of things that I dislike about the computer. And this is the traditional gray color that they originally made when they first introduced this bike computer about 2 years ago. And now they're making this device in a few different colors. You can choose between gray, pink, and this new stealth black color. This product currently costs $230, but as of the day of this recording, May 1st, you can actually do a $30 rebate, which I think makes this particular bike computer a fantastic bargain. Anytime you can get a computer this nice for under $200, you're really looking at a pretty fantastic deal. And when I first got this computer, I immediately wanted to take it out for a test spin. So I took my Garmin Edge 820 device and I put it where I think it belongs. And when I tried to drop this computer on the same mount, I quickly realized that these mounts are not compatible, which I found super annoying. It does actually look like they would be compatible mounts, but they are not. In fact, you can kind of finagle a Wahoo computer onto a Garmin mount, but it'll sit sideways and it won't really sit in there very securely. And in my opinion, that's the worst thing about these Wahoo computers. They should have gone ahead and just made them compatible with Garmin mounts. Garmin has so many different types of third-party mounts. They make TT mounts, they make mounts with GoPros attached underneath them. I've noticed a lot of bikes having handlebars with their own custom quarter turn Garmin mounts that just kind of build right into the handlebars themselves. And I'm just really surprised that Garmin didn't use this standard mounting option. Wahoo will of course sell you an adapter which costs an extra $15, which is really just this extra piece of plastic which sits in between your Garmin mount and your Wahoo bike computer. However, I will say that Garmin does provide a really nice mount with this bike computer, and it fits right in line with the computer itself. And Wahoo claims that when you use this bike mount, because of the aerodynamics, that it will save you as much as 12.6 seconds over 40K because it's so damn aerodynamic. But if you do want to dive deep into the aerodynamics of this particular bike computer compared to other bike computers, I'll leave a link to Ray's video of DC Rainmaker, where he actually takes a few different bike computers to the specialized wind tunnel. But spoiler, you're probably not going to save 12 seconds by using this particular computer and this particular mount. Also inside the box is another little bike computer mount, very similar to what you might get if you've ever purchased a Garmin bike computer, but this one is just smaller. It could fit on a TT Aero bar, for example. So it is nice that they're providing two bike mounts here. And they also provide the zip ties that you could use to attach this particular small mount. Lastly in the box is just the USB micro cord. You guys have seen these, you probably have 1,000 of them. And of course, a quick start guide and warranty card. And there is one more thing in the box that I forgot to mention, and that is this optional locking screw. And that's just this small additional bit of security that allows you to attach your bike computer to your bike mount a little bit more permanently. And it just kind of provides you with that bit of security that you might need to keep someone from kind of coming up to your computer or bike and quarter turning this computer, dropping it in their pocket and walking away with it. And so it's kind of a nice thing to have, but it's not something that I use personally. And this device is pretty small. It's 2.9 inches by 1.8 inches by 0.87 inches. And it weighs in at 2.2 ounces. It uses that micro USB charging, and it has a claimed battery life of 15 hours. It's waterproof up to about 5 feet, so it should be fine for any of those rainy day rides that you guys might find if you bike here in the Portland area. And it's able to connect to Ant Plus or Bluetooth. And you can even connect this particular computer to your Wahoo Kicker bike trainer, and you can control your bike trainer with the controls right from this bike computer itself. It has 6 main buttons, 3 main buttons down along the bottom here, and on the left side of the bike computer, if you're looking down at it, it has a power button that if you tap will take you to the settings menu. And then there's 3 buttons on the right. If you press up or down on that, it will either increase or decrease the number of fields being shown on any particular screen. And this is one feature that I actually find pretty cool, and it is specific to Wahoo computers, and it's something that I think distinguishes Wahoo computers from all the other bike computers on the market. Another distinguishing feature about this particular bike computer is the 7 LEDs that kind of run along the top up here. And what's cool about that is you can actually set these to do different things. For example, you could set it to show how fast you're going. You could actually set it for each different zone, like power zones or heart rate zones. So you kind of know exactly which zone you're in just by glancing quickly at those LEDs. But what I like most about having these little indicator lights is when I have this particular device paired with my Garmin Varia radar, I can actually tell how close traffic is behind me and when they're actually coming up to overtake me. With this bike computer, you can also do things like Strava live segments. You can even do turn-by-turn directions, and it does have mapping. And so far, this computer has handled all the power meters or heart rate meters that I've thrown at it while doing testing. And it is possible to connect to Shimano's Di2 systems using their D-Fly system, which means that you can see the battery life of your Di2 system on your computer, or you can even control your bike computer itself with the Di2 shifters. And I have been using this bike computer pretty much exclusively for about the last 3 months, and I have to say that I love the size of this device. It doesn't have a touchscreen, which a lot of people would consider potentially a negative, but in my opinion, I think that's probably one of the most positive things about a bike computer. There's so many manufacturers that are trying to make touchscreens that just flat out don't work. I've been in so many races where I've sweat or rain has hit the computer, basically taking it to some different screen or actually changing the metrics on the device itself, driving me absolutely crazy while I'm supposed to be focusing on the race itself. So not having a touchscreen, in my opinion, is a huge plus. And when paired with your smartphone, it does provide those notifications of calls or text or whatever work that you're supposed to be doing when you're out riding on your bike and you're not at your home office. And I really love having Wi-Fi right on the device, just so that as you come home from your bike ride, that the computer just auto uploads your activity whenever it finds your Wi-Fi network. And I love the fact that this computer does come with a really nice mount. The computer itself fits so flush with the mount, and if I'm being honest, I just love the clean look of the front end of the bike. But one of the things that tends to give me pause is that a lot of my other devices are already made by Garmin. I'm very invested in Garmin's ecosystem. I have Garmin Vector power meter pedals. I have 2 of their Garmin Varia radar lights. And when this Wahoo Bolt first came onto the market, it actually didn't support the Varia radar protocol. so it wouldn't show you any of those traffic indicators or anything like that. So in my mind, that was pretty much a deal breaker for this particular bike computer. But as soon as they announced that they were gonna actually integrate that Varia radar protocol, I was pretty much on board for trying this particular bike computer. It's a little sad how much I actually like that Varia radar. And now that they actually did update the firmware of this particular bike computer, that radar works flawlessly with this. But I still hesitate a little bit to use a non-Garmin bike computer, just because I know that there's some future Garmin products that are coming down the pipelines that I really do want to incorporate into my own training. And I know that it'll take Wahoo a little bit of extra time to catch up. For example, in my last video, I talked about the Garmin Varia Air, which is a product that we are expecting to come from Garmin in the near future, but it's a power meter and an aerometer. And this particular device would need to show live streaming CDA numbers. And that's another one of those protocols that needs to be finalized. So for Garmin, it's no problem because they can make their particular bike computers work with their other particular products. Other things that I worry about or don't necessarily love about this Bolt, I mentioned the mounting issue. Would have been nice if they just kind of stuck with the standard there, as opposed to coming up with their own very similar but not quite compatible whatever quarter mounting system that they have here. And I've also noticed that this little USB flap keeps popping open when I don't want it open. Basically, any time I leave this computer alone, that little flap tends to pop open. I'm not sure if that's just my particular unit or if that's something that, you know, happens with all of these devices. But overall, I really do like this bike computer. It's very functional. It's very functional. And at $230 or $200 if you can find a deal, I feel like it's an excellent value. For comparison, Garmin makes a computer called the Edge 130, which they priced at $200. And this computer, in my opinion, is significantly better than that device. And Garmin also makes a computer called the Edge 530, which is priced at $300, which I do consider to be a slightly nicer device than this one. It has some color displays and some other features that I find just a little bit more compelling. And typically that's the computer that I'll recommend to people. But if you're looking to find something kind of in that $200 price range, then I think that this computer is a no-brainer. So overall, there's a couple of little annoyances with this particular device, but I would have no hesitation recommending that you guys consider the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt as your next bike computer. And I have a ton more bike technology reviews coming up on this channel, so if you're into this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe. I typically post videos about once per week, and I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video, and we will see you guys on the next one.